Hello, I'm Andre, and let's talk Stashdown Summer School. Stashdown Summer School kicked off on Monday, June 1st. I am absolutely thrilled to see the participation and the excitement that's going on into this. If you're not familiar, Stashdown Summer School is a make-along that's open to all fiber crafts, and basically we're just working to finish our whips, work from stash, and just kind of getting together to encourage each other. This is going on from June 1st, continuing into the end of August, and there's very little rules. Basically, you want to do new cast-ons, you want to include test knits, that's totally up to you. However you want to count it. It's not a competition, right? So it's just encouraging each other to make from what we've already have. If you're interested in joining, registration is still open. Heck, if you don't want to register and just want to follow along, you can. It's very flexible and there's all kinds of ways to participate. I'll be recording videos probably about once a month to post here. I am posting in the Ravelry group, and I'm also posting on Instagram. So all of that information will be down below. We don't have a strict structure like you would in a traditional class, but I have put together monthly themes to help guide if you need a little extra direction in how to choose what to do. The June theme is quick wins and single skeins. There is a method to my madness, like I tell my students all the time. I don't do things for nothing. The reason why I've chosen this theme to kick off Stashdown Summer School is to, one, start the make-along strong, build momentum, and experience those early victories. So there have been psychological studies that have seen that when we celebrate those small wins, we get a little dopamine hit. And that dopamine hit encourages us to keep going. So this hopefully will build momentum as we go into the second and third month of our making. And hopefully it's helping you clear out things quickly. So this month, again, totally optional if you want to follow this theme for Stashdown Summer School, but we're looking at finishing those whips that are closest to completion. From the registration forms, I've seen that the vast majority are starting off with socks. Actually, 40% of all quick win projects are socks, and I'm among that 40%. Followed close behind by sweaters or other garments. So some shorter term projects, some larger term projects that may be close to finishing. We may also have some whips that are just at the finish line, not necessarily in terms of active crafting, but in actual finishing. So these may be things like sewing on buttons, weaving in ends, perhaps just blocking. For spinners, you very likely have a stash of finished skeins that are waiting to be set. So now's the time to do it. Clear that stuff off, right? Release that burden of things kind of weighing down on you, knowing that you need to do it. It's an easy thing to do. And those finishing things, ultimately, they're not that difficult. They're just annoying, fiddly things. They require us to kind of change speed. I know I'm totally guilty of this. If I have to seam things, I will put it off for the longest amount possible. But when you actually sit down to do it, it's not really that bad. Weaving in ends, Same thing. I know people always say to weave in ends as you go. If you have that practice, like, good on you, but I'm not. I'm not good at that personally, and I know I'm not the only one. I always leave it off as a future me problem, and eventually future me becomes present me, and I have to deal with that. Other things, if you don't have any projects that are close to completion, we can do single skein projects. So again, we are looking to work from our stash, and I'm sure most crafters have a single skein that is just waiting to be used up. Now, it might be a special yarn. It might be something you bought on a trip. It might be something that's a little luxurious. Maybe it's hand spun yarn that is just too special. Maybe it's just whatever you have laying around. But this is something that can be a potential quick win. There are all kinds of things that you can make from a single skein. You can make socks, right? Like most participating are aiming to make socks this month. They're also perfect for on-the-go crafting. Various accessories like cowls, hats, mitts. There's little shawlettes that you can make with one skein. These are flexible for all kinds of different weights of yarn. You can also look at things like dishcloths, coasters, baby items, plushies, especially if you're working with scraps of various other projects. So there's all kinds of options out there for single skein items if you don't have something that's close to finishing, just to kind of give you that feeling of success early on. That is what I am challenging everybody to do. Pick one of those things, pick all of them, whatever you want, but choose something that will give you an early win. Ideally, something that you can finish this month, which I'm recording this on June 2nd, so technically we're day 2, and there is at least one person who has finished a shawl. I have finished a pair of socks. Clearly, these were things that were very close to being finished, but we can certainly finish more as the month progresses. So myself, I have decided I want to hit every one of those categories. So my first was a quick win. It was a pair of socks, a pair of DK socks that only had the toe left. So those are done. This color is blowing out, isn't it? This better? Yeah, okay. So I didn't follow a pattern here. This was a work sock kit from Timber Yarns. This lovely marled yarn. Socks made for my partner. So that is all done. I have my Stria cardigan by Andrew Mary, which I need to do the tubular bind off for the button band, and I need to sew in a lot of ends. If you've ever seen the Stria cardigan, it has stripes every 10 rows. Yeah, there's 10 rows of the solid color, and then there's 2 rows of the stripe. And yeah, like I said, I'm not great at tackling these as I'm knitting. So now I'm left at the point where I do need to face all of those ends. So I've been making myself, or at least my goal is to sew in at least 10 ends a night. So that's not too bad. At this point, I'm almost done sewing in the ends on the body, but there's still a lot left in the sleeves. I will also need to sew buttons on that. So this at least is challenging me to not leave that on the back burner and actually get it done. And for the single skein cast on, I am casting on the loam hat So that is a worsted weight hat pattern using this lovely Tweety yarn. And because I finished that quick win, I'm going to bring in another project to replace it, and that will be my Nolan Gnome by Imagine Landscapes. All right, so I've got most of the body done. It needs to be finished, stuffed, and then there's the beard, the nose, and the arms that need to be done and then sewn on. So I'm leaving myself a lot of sewing things on, which is not my favorite thing to do, but in the spirit of the theme, I am pushing myself to do it. As we're going on through this, I always keep a list of all of my whips, but I have organized them as to my perceived idea of which are closest to being finished. So once I finish things, I can go on to the next one. So that's our June theme. That's how I'm approaching it. If you are interested in joining along with this, you're absolutely welcome. I'm not closing registration, so you can join at any point. Please tag me if you post on Instagram. There is a hashtag, but I know now with Instagram the hashtags are they get kind of buried down amongst other stuff. But anyways, lots of ways to participate. Do as much or as little as you want. If you want to just carry on at home and follow the theme, that's totally up to you. But hopefully this will inspire you to finish these things that have been lingering, clear up that mental and physical space. Anyways, it is absolutely safe space to talk about our giant piles of whips, our growing and absurd levels of stash. Happy to have you join me. Yeah. Okay. That's all for me. I'm keeping it short because you've seen a lot of me in the last couple of weeks. If you're joining in, let me know what you're working on. If you're not, I don't know. Cool. I don't care. Do what you want. Either way, happy crafting. Let's get some things off of our needles and clear out some whips and stash. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye.